Hey folks, Miguel here. I'm so excited to share this specific tip with you. I think it's going to totally change the way that you act every single day. I think it's totally going to improve any business that you're in. And I think it's totally going to make you look at what you do in a completely different light. And I was lucky enough when I was little to spend a lot of time with my dad, who really inspired me to listen and do a lot of personal development. So I learned all this stuff from Tony Robbins and a lot of other really, really cool things. But here's the tip anyway. The tip that I want to give you today is to ask yourself a question. Okay, ask yourself this question right now. 2 questions. 1, are you acting like an amateur in your area of business, or are you acting like a pro? So which one are you? Are you acting like an amateur, and are you acting like a pro? And I'll get to the next question later on. But what do I mean about amateur versus a pro? Well, let me explain this to you. An amateur is someone that, really isn't going to be getting a lot of results. And what do I mean by that? I get a lot of people that come to me and say, how is this person incredibly successful? I mean, they're just killing it at this area that I'm trying to get into. But I mean, I look at them and they're way up here and I'm down here, and now it's been 2-3 years and I'm still down here. What's going on? I mean, I'm just as smart as they are. I have the same skills that they have. What's the problem? What's going on? Well, the problem is they're acting like an amateur, whereas this person has raised their level of their game and they're a pro. Right? And so what is an amateur, right? It's nothing to do with skills and all that stuff. It's more about behavior and how you behave, right? That's why you can have someone with the greatest skill, the greatest talent, just get destroyed by someone else that acts like a pro, right? Not all the best talents make it into the NFL or the NHL, right? That's not what happens, right? It's the people that work hardest, act like a pro, and show up every day, right? So an amateur is someone that doesn't show up, right? They show up once in a while, and maybe even sometimes when they show up, they're amazing, right? They're so cool. They're scoring all the goals. They're making all the basketball shots. Imagine if I was a motivational speaker. This is a good analogy. Imagine I was a motivational speaker, and I was an amateur. Let's say, I was amazing, but some days I was terrible because I let, stuff happen, and sometimes I was bad, right? Imagine an introduction where people are like, great, I'm so excited that you guys are here. We got a great speaker coming up, Miguel Carrasco, and he is going to get you guys pumped up and excited. However, I should tell you that if he's on, he is like the best in the world. But if he's off, if he's having a bad day, he might be really terrible. So give it up for him, right? That'd be horrible. And I can tell you that a lot of you are going through your life, right, in whatever career or business you're in, acting that way, like an amateur. Some of you are awesome, but you only show up once in a while. You're not consistent, right? That makes you an amateur. That makes you an amateur no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're smarter or better than that other person. If you're only showing up once in a while, you're an amateur, and you're going to get paid like an amateur for the rest of your life until you start showing up consistently. Amateurs don't follow through. They say they're going to do something, and they don't do it. Right? So they say, I'm going to do this amazing thing. I have this great idea. I'm going to do all these things. It's going to be so great. Awesome. And people around them start getting excited and, this is going to be great. But then they don't follow through. They don't make it happen. Right? So they lose trust. They're not trustworthy. So they're an amateur. They don't show up. Right? So you can't be that way. You can't go through life expecting these great rewards as an amateur. Right? The other problem amateurs have is they don't take things too seriously. Right? They take things a little bit seriously, but not too much, right? They're the ones that are like the toe dippers, I call them, right? They're like, this might work pretty good, but I'm not too sure, so I'll just watch and see what happens, right? That's an amateur. Amateurs do that, right? Doesn't matter what business you're in, career you're in, right? If you're at this level and you want to get to that level, an amateur will be like, well, I'm pretty good where I'm at right now. I like what I'm doing. It's all good. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, I'd love to have 4 weeks vacation. Yeah, I'd love to get paid more money, but frankly, I don't even know. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try a little bit. And deep down, maybe they're trying a bit, right? They're showing up once in a while, and then they don't get the promotion, and then they're like, I wasn't really trying. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it, right? That's horrible. Amateurs also, they cause or love drama, right? Amateurs, if something's going on, something's bad in the workforce, right? They're the ones there talking about it with the water cooler. They're the ones going to the office and spreading rumors and all that kind of stuff, right? Amateurs behave that way. Amateurs are on the Facebook groups and posting stuff and saying X, Y, Z, and this is what's happening here, blah, 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 blah. Amateurs love spreading gossip and drama and rumors. Terrible things are always happening to them, right? Why? Why are all these bad things happening to them and not anyone else, right? Well, the thing is that bad things happen to everybody. It's just amateurs take it like the end of the world, and it becomes their life and it consumes their life. And it's my belief that because it consumes their life, they attract even more of this behavior, right? And then come the excuses, right? I mean, for me, a lot of you know I'm a Beachbody coach, right? So I deal with, frankly, a lot of amateurs, not just on my team and on a lot of teams. And just to be really clear, I've acted like an amateur on some occasions as well. We all go through it. It's just that I check myself and I become a pro right away, which I'll get to, right? So amateurs make excuses all the time, like all the time. It's like, hey, are you coming to the event on Saturday? Oh, you know what? I can't. I'd love to, but here's the thing. Like my great grandma's coming in from out of town, and she's only going to be here, for this weekend. So, I'd hate to be gone for 45 minutes to go to your event. So I can't make it happen. Or an amateur will be like, oh, you know what? Like I have this horrible migraine, or, oh, you know what? Like I have this, my dog died, and I can't make it right now. I'm really affected by it. Here's the thing. An amateur doesn't even realize that I can check on Facebook that on Friday night they went out partying with their buddies. Well, I guess grandma doesn't matter that much. So that's the thing. Amateurs make excuses all the time, right? And here's the thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being an amateur. But when an amateur comes to me and says, hey, like I'm doing like really poorly right now, and I have all the skills and I want to become this person, right? What do I got to do? Like I know all these things. I'm like, great. But the reality is you're acting like an amateur. You're showing up once in a while. Amateurs take a lot of vacations. Amateurs are the ones that post, well, I'm going to take the weekend to myself and just relax and, have a relaxing time. And, oh, you know what? Amateurs are the ones that are like, no, it's the busiest time of year, right? Busiest time of year for the business you're in or whatever you're doing. And amateurs are the ones that are like, hey, I got to take a week off. I got to go chill out and relax. It's my time. I deserve it. Here's the thing. Could you imagine a professional athlete in the NHL deciding that they're going to take a week off during playoff season? Could you imagine a professional athlete, in the NFL deciding he's not going to show up to practice religiously because, he's too dang good and he doesn't need to show up to practice? I don't care what player you are. That coach of that team will get you booted off that team so fast. They will trade you to a different team. They will do whatever they have to do because they don't care how good you are. If you're not reliable, if you're not acting like a pro, you are not going to be making $40 million a year in the NFL. You're going to be making, maybe $10,000 in some amateur league, right? Nothing wrong with that if you just enjoy it and you want to have a scrimmage and play some football and, show off to your buddies how far you can throw. That's awesome. But if you want to get paid like a pro, you have to be a pro and you have to show up and make no excuses, right? Guess what? If you're starting a business, if you just started this year, last year, whatever it is, you better believe it's going to take you 3 to 5 years of no vacation, working your butt off if you want to become a pro. If you want to be the top of that company, which a lot of you should want to be, you all want to get there. Some of you say you don't, but most of you do. Then you're not taking vacation. I'm sorry, you're not taking vacation. You're going to work this thing to your butt off because you are not an amateur, you're a pro. What does a pro do? A pro shows up every single time. Shows up every time. He's always there. When he gets introduced, they're like, this is the greatest speaker of all time. He's going to be amazing. He'll blow your minds. Glad to introduce you guys to, whatever the speaker is. That's a pro, right? A pro gets results every time. When someone gives him a problem to do, he figures out a way to do it, right? He's not the one saying, oh, okay, well, thanks for the great problem, but here's the thing. I can't actually make it happen. Probably not that day. Maybe in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure when, really. Kind of busy. I'm going to try to make it happen, though. That's totally the goal. Yeah, 6 months from now, all in, right? And then 6 months comes by, and it's like, so how'd it go? You know what? Yeah, last 6 months, brutal. A horrible thing. But you know what? I want to be a pro. 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 Great. If you want to be a pro, start acting like a pro. Show up every time. Don't make excuses. If there's a problem, write it down, figure out a solution, solve it. That's what pros do. Pros solve problems. Pros are problem solvers. They don't make excuses, right? Pros always figure out how to make it work. If something bad happens to them, sure, everybody gets sad about it, but a pro looks at it, gets sad about it for 5 seconds, flips it on its axis, and figures out a way to make it a positive. How can I learn from that? That's horrible. Let's move on. Let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. The next one. The next one. Right? There's this great quote about Michael Jordan about how many shots he missed and all this stuff. But what they should have added to that quote is that every time he missed a shot, he went back and learned why he missed that shot. Do you not think that Michael Jordan watched replays of him missing that shot over and over, the big game shots that he would miss sometimes? Of course he did. So he made himself better, right? So he didn't just mope around and be sad, oh wow, I missed that shot, I should have made it, that's horrible, we lost the game, it's all over. No, that's what amateurs do. Pros look at it, flip it around, learn from it, and move on and get better every single time. Because a pro takes themselves seriously, dead seriously. So seriously that you can depend on them every single time. They're always going to show up. They're dependable. And so here's my last question to you is, if someone was to ask you, or maybe even ask yourself this question, ask yourself this: are you the best in the world at what you do? Are you the best in the world, the number one person in the world at what you do? Are you one of the best in the world at what you do? Right? And if the answer to that is no, right? No, I'm not. And you're happy with that and you don't want to be one of the best in the world, then you just need to set your expectations right. If you don't want to be the best in the world at something, then realize you're going to make way less income at whatever you're doing, right? You're going to be way less successful at whatever you're doing because you're not taking it seriously enough and you're not behaving like a pro. I'll tell you, every single day that I wake up, whether it was my jobs before, my current career with Beachbody, with what I'm doing with them, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. Every single day when I showed up to work, I was like, I want to be the best in the world at what I'm doing because that gives me enjoyment. Being the best at something gives me so much enjoyment, right? Knowing that I'm working harder, longer hours, traveling more than everyone else, right? Landing the best contracts, whatever I do, I want to be the best at it. When I show up there, I want to give the best presentations, right? I want to show up to a client and blow their minds with the presentation. And when someone else presents after me, I want them to feel like that was so horrible that we have to do business with this guy. I don't care about anything else. That guy knows what he's talking about, and we're going to do business with him, right? I've always acted that way, no matter what job I had, whether it was when I was working in call centers when I was 16, I wanted to be the best at it, right? Sure, it was a crummy job in a lot of ways. I had to answer phones and do a lot of stuff. And I was even working for a company where we would call people up and they had to do surveys. You've heard those people before, right? I used to get hung up on like 200 times a day. And in the beginning, it affected me. But even then, I always wanted to learn. I was like, okay, so who is actually the best at this? Oh, there's a ranking? That's cool. Who's the best? Who's the best at getting the survey responses? And then I'd go for lunch with them and I'd figure out what they would say, how they would do, what they would act. When we'd come into the cubicles, I would purposely sit beside who was the best so I could listen in and hear what they were saying. So it wasn't too long before I was about to get promoted, and I actually ended up leaving and took another job at a different call center. And there again, I did the exact same thing. I became the best at everything I was doing by a lot of different strategies, but mainly deciding that I wanted to be the best in the world at whatever the heck I was doing, right? 2 years ago, and I'll end with this. 2 years ago, I had no idea what Beachbody coaching was. All I knew was I was 230 pounds in the worst shape of my life. I ended up in the hospital, and I had to get my life back, right? 2 years ago, I wasn't even a coach. I had no idea I knew who Tony Horton was, but that was about it, right? I had no idea who all these people were, celebrity trainers and all that. Did I ever think I'd be able to even run a block? No. I looked at people running outside and I was like, why would anyone run? I see a joke on the internet all the time. It's like, if I'm running, I better be running from something, right? That would have been me. If you would have seen me running, you better call 911 because I'm running for a reason, right? That was me before. Now, I've run half marathons. I've gotten Insanity certified with Shaun T. I've worked out with Tony Horton multiple times, all these celebrity trainers. And if I was to ask myself right now, Miguel, are you the best in the world at it? No, not yet. Are you one of the best in the world right now? Absolutely. I'm one of the best. As a Beachbody coach right now, I'm one of the best. But I didn't even know what I was doing a year and a half ago. But why? Because every day I showed up. Every day I wanted to be a pro. Every day I wanted to get better and better and better and better and better. And so one day I will be the best in the world. It may not be this year, it may not be next year, but one day I am going to be announced as the top Beachbody coach in the company. I know that. It's not even a question to me. Because I'm going to surround myself with other people that are pros. And that's another tip, by the way. If you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of amateurs, hey, guess what? You're always going to play at the amateur level. You want to play with the big boys? You better surround yourself with all the pros right away, right? Because everyone starts somewhere. Everyone starts as an amateur. But guess what? Even if you're in an amateur league right now, if you're right now considered an amateur league, and you want to be a pro, just start acting like a pro in the amateur league and you will become a pro. And I think all of you deserve to hear this. You need to ask yourself this every day. Are you operating like an amateur right now? Or are you acting like a pro? Are you a pro, right? Are you the best in the world? Do you want to be the best in the world? Do you want to be one of the best in the world? What are the best in the world doing right now? And you need to do whatever they're doing, plus a little bit more every day, and you will get exactly what you want in any career, in any business. This strategy works. I'm telling you, I'm living proof that this strategy works. So with that, I want you guys to live with passion. I want you guys to dream the crazy extremes. But more importantly, I want you guys to act like a pro and actually make it happen. Okay, take it easy, folks. Talk to you later.